Of course, the assassin isn't, I mean, necessarily that good either. I mean, he doesn't get his sniper shot, and then he hits Michael once, doesn't kill him.
Which is, and again comes back to my. I think that's a weakness of the. This is Sicily. Your assassin is going to do his job even if he dies.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Granted, he's an old man killing, 25, 27-year-olds with a knife. I mean,
all the more reason why he succeeds. This is a Sicilian assassin, man. With that minor problem, if you kind of set that aside for me, I love the sequence.
Yeah.
I love the coming back to. First of all, you've got the loyal members again. Who are going out and doing Vincent. In this case, it's Vincent's bidding, not Michael's. Michael's out of it,
but Michael has his blessing.
Right. Well, indirectly by the fact that he gave Vincent,
he passes the buck to Vincent and says, "You do it instead of me." But
which I think comes back. Vincent, I know you know that he's much more. I couldn't help but notice Vincent is much more of a head of security rather than a Godfather in this one scene.
Yeah, he's kind of micromanaging.
Yes, exactly.
He's not sitting back and watching. He has, well, in a way, I guess he really can't because of his responsibility not only to himself but also to the family core members that he has to protect. He has to ensure the safety of Michael and Mary,
which perhaps comes from the problem with having the Godfather Emeritus alive. At the same, you got two Godfathers essentially, because there's still loyalty for everyone to Michael.
Yeah,
those people going to Rome are doing it out of loyalty to Michael, not loyalty to Vincent.
Yeah.
But Vincent is the new Godfather.
Yeah.
He's the head now.
Yeah.
And so, but he too has a loyalty to this other figure who he's got to protect. And so that's where I feel like there's quite a bit of there's quite a strong, I think, strong difference between Vincent's role at that point and what we've seen previously with Vito and Michael.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the first film, the Godfather, for 99% of the film, is Vito. Even after Vito's death, he is still the Godfather. The moment that Michael not only orders the killing, but also lies to Kay about it, and the door closes on her, that's when he is truly the Godfather at the very pinnacle of the film. And so you don't really... And then, of course, in the second film, Michael is the Godfather reflecting on the legacy of the old Godfather, but they don't have that personal interaction that Vincent and Michael have. So it's a little awkward to work around. And you said the scene does have issues, but I agree. I did like the way it ended, and there's that moment where, oh God, Mary's been shot, and Michael's just writhing in agony. And originally,
look at him.
And originally they were going to have him scream, but I love the way they changed. They put the music in, and they silence him for most of it. Like, it's so bad he can't even scream, and then he just finally lets out a end wail at the very climax, and I think it hurts much more for the audience than it would have otherwise. So
see, I also find that scene beautiful, if only because it comes back to the redemption issue.
Yeah.
Which I feel you can't. I feel too often when people are discussing these films, they ignore that issue, which in my opinion, is a central issue for Michael in this film.
Yeah.
He's seeking that. That's what he's been seeking the whole time. And I feel like that's the moment he gets it.
The redemption from the... You feel he gets redemption?
I feel he gets redemption. I think that's where he's ultimately... That is where he is... He's releasing in that wail. She's dead. Because, and I feel that her death comes at least in his mindset, he did sin one more time after promising God he wouldn't. On the lives of his children. And it costs him. On the lives of one of his children.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't obviously sin after that. He's no longer the Godfather.
Yeah.
So
that is an interesting point, that's when he stops being the Godfather, is when he's mourning over Mary.
That, I feel, is the point of release for him. Not just release over the death of his daughter, but he's
separated.
I
would actually call it a release rather than a redemption. I don't think redemption. I think maybe implies the return of bad times to what is good, which I don't think he can. But yeah, it is a release. I think it's when he has to let go. He doesn't have anything left to hold on to. That's worth holding on to for him. So yeah. So yeah, I definitely have I have a better respect for this film than I did. But it's still the hardest to watch, I think, just because the problems in the first half are just this lumbering beast that they tried to do too many things with, I think, and it does come into it. Thankfully, it does come into its own a little better in the second half and flows a little better, but it's ultimately not enough. I mean, it got a nomination, but it didn't win Best Picture, and I would agree with that decision. Although, what was that year?
Let's think about what won.
Was it Dances? Was Dances with Wolves that year? And you have a problem with that.
I have a terrific problem.
That's for another podcast. No, I mean, yeah, but I don't know what the other nominees were, but as compared to the other Godfather films being perhaps more worthy of a Best Picture, if there is one of the films that perhaps did not deserve to win, it is the third one.
Oh, I agree. The third one is not compared to the first two, and I'm not saying the third one is a great film. I feel though it is still a good film.
It's a very
good film.
Yeah.
It's just not. Yeah, if you compare it, which is where I think for watching the third film, you have to accept that it is not the first two. It is not the continuation of the first two. It is simply I love the comment you said you got it from that Coppola said it himself. I love the idea that this is the epilogue because I think that fits perfectly.
Yeah. If you look at it like an epilogue, which it really is with all. I mean, the first like I said, the first half, the first 30 minutes. I think the best parts of that, although it's lumbering and doesn't get into the story almost at all, it has all those memories. It's almost like okay, audience, you've been away from this franchise for so long. We're going to give you some scenes to help you remember what the ending of the second film was. But it does it in an interesting way. I like the look back at the old house and that they had at the Lake Tahoe.
Oh yeah, I love the opening sequence.
And it's just ruined and kind of the end result of it's Michael's power that has been ruined and broken, and he moved back to New York.
I love that from the very beginning of this film. If you've never seen it before, the opening is terrific, I think.
The opening's good. And then of course he has those flashbacks. He thinks back to when Fredo was killed.
Flashbacks.
This has been a VS1 production.